My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system, which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. Notice: intellectual property theft is particularly egregious and equally unlawful where the sole inventor and creator of the intellectual property is the targeted individual. Erica Lorraine Spencer, subject to the unconstitutional and inhumane government system of gang stalking, otherwise referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices, because of which the intellectual property created by the targeted individual, who is, in fact, Erica Lorraine Spencer, as the intellectual property also proves, serves to establish via evidence and expose the existence of criminal surveillance and thus an inherent threat posed by the U.S. government and the civilian population sharing engagement in the unlawful system. Such evidence that includes all of the content created by Erica Lorraine Spencer, images, videos, audio, etc., belongs solely and entirely to Erica Lorraine Spencer only and is necessarily published online in order to protect her life, safety, and liberty as the targeted individual, who is also the intellectual property owner, no less protected from theft procured through targeting by a public entity. Theft of any intellectual property belonging to Erica Lorraine Spencer, which is necessarily committed while she, being both creator and inventor, remains oppressed by the public entity via criminal surveillance, is a criminal and inhumane means of infringement under all circumstances and not protected nor enforceable pursuant to any invalid or fraudulent acts of copyright, trademarks, patents, etc., including as it pertains to any ideas associated with or generated from the intellectual property or the intellectual property owner, Erica Lorraine Spencer, whether creative, business, or otherwise, nor does the intellectual property owner consent to any such means of infringement and theft. Erica Lorraine Spencer here. The following is an audio version of video evidence that is captured for purposes of mass distribution, which is why I am capturing it and sharing it on the podcast for evidentiary purposes and also to reveal the wealth of documentation that extends beyond what it is that I document on podcasts. Much of the video and images will be published onto the YouTube channel, the P.O.C, and it is also shared on the Google Drive. Again, this is for purposes of revealing what I remain subject to, which is federal group stalking and monitoring. It is a demonic system of state surveillance that the government is practicing in concert with the people of the state, and it should be known and well understood that for the government to engage in federal group stalking and monitoring, this is a crime that is committed with a criminal purpose to threaten the life of an American citizen. This is to conspire to murder and or permanently kidnap an American citizen while engaging in a perpetual sex offense in concert with the people of the state. Alrighty, I just took pictures of the Ontario International Airport stalking. They cut through the senior center and fly doing a cartwheel in the opposite direction. And seconds later, another flying plane, senior citizen complex, where the Ontario Fire Department were gang stalking, sharing in that public nuisance as well. They're doing so at 12 o'clock in the morning. The entity is going to be shut down, and this is all the evidence that is supporting what is going to be the federal government removing the Ontario International Airport, and also a federal prosecution for the terrorists operating under an airport. stalking me, and they are severely mentally ill. This is the fake moon over me speaking to state surveillance. State surveillance that is underway by the Ontario International Airport and every commercial airline company that are sharing in that. The entities engaging in this, and this is the people of the state at 12 o'clock in the morning, the city of Ontario that's committed to criminal surveillance, which is speaking to axiomatic, the removal of anyone that will call themselves a mayor. Paul Leon's not a mayor. He's a gang stalker. He's a domestic enemy. And that's why the city of Ontario is engaging in the pattern of conduct, also at the Ontario City Hall under Ontario. And this is the demon possessed that are engaging in what are stalking in the path. This vehicle is parked in alignment with my location on the side of the Ovid Family Community Library, where the fake moon is over me, at the side of the Ovid Family Community Library, where the fake sun rises and sets at the side of the Ovid Family Community Library, where the airport is stalking, hovering one plane after another, which is psychopathic pacing. Okay, this is P.O.C. And the entity is engaging in this as I'm documenting them stalking me while I'm walking through the neighborhood, Princeton, while I'm walking through the neighborhood at Brooks and Vine Avenue. They're stalking on Holt Boulevard. They're flying over the Ontario Village Shopping Center. This is the entity that's engaging. This is the mentally ill behavior. And this is the prosecution of the people of the state. The government's sloppiness, the government's mental illness, which has become uncontrolled, is serving for nothing other than prosecuting everyone else, because this is clearly a prosecuted entity that they don't plan on pleading innocent in a criminal case in the courtroom. This is the same thing with the Ontario Police Department. They have no intention of that. So these are the mentally ill that intend to die trying with what is already a lost effort. Okay, that the airport has no terminals. The property is not anywhere. This is a whole elaborate housing community, which I'm documenting, and I'm documenting the Ontario International Airport gang stalking me in the housing community that surrounds the Ontario Civic Center. The entity is flying miles away, and like psychopaths, then lowering down in elevation and flying one plane after another over a senior citizen complex, and that is also at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. And they're maintaining a hovering elevation west of this location. At the Ontario Village Shopping Center, for example, they're hovering like they're taking off and landing west of here. And again, this is the entity talking as an airport. You are out of your mind to engage in this provision of evidence against yourselves. And because it's a criminal conspiracy as an entity, it's evidence against everyone else. No one is questioning whether Economy N is engaged in gang stalking. I'm prosecuting them. This is the same pattern of conduct, and they are going to federal prison. They're already on the record, and this is an entity that has already provided a systematic prosecution for every single last aspect of the pattern of conduct where the entities engage in this identical P.O.C. This is under the fake moon at Ovid Family Community Library. It's 12:11 a.m. P.O.C. There's no airport over here. Flying over the senior citizens. This is in violation of zoning as well. This is the public nuisance while they're stalking. And so are the elderly that are inside of the apartment building. That's why there's no complaint as why they're violating the law together. They're gang stalking. And the mentally ill engage in more of that. So as you capture damning evidence, you just keep their camera rolling, because they'll do it over and over and over again. And there is the evidence of the pattern of conduct, and that's how you're going to prosecute the government. They're mentally ill, so they're demons that engage in more of that. This is the entity stalking. Wells Fargo is stalking. Downtown Ontario Luxury Apartments is stalking. These are the demon possessed that are pacing all around with engineer light. And that's everyone else that's prosecuted while the government provides what is the ongoing template regarding gang stalking that the people of the state share in. Ovid Family Community Library is stalking. The Ontario Town Square is stalking. That's the prosecution of the government. P.O.C. Second by second, 12:12 a.m. And the Ontario International Airport maintains no published evidence of the entity taking off from the terminals. That includes these flights. And this is all tracked conduct. The entity is going to answer for the ongoing stalking that I'm documenting by the police department. They're going to prison for stalking in police vehicles and stalking in helicopters of the department. They're going to prison for stalking using the commercial airline planes. They're going to prison for stalking as an airport. This is P.O.C. It is 12:13 a.m. License 9, Wendy Henry Apple 305, engaging in what is assault with a deadly weapon, where the people of the state are gang stalking. They all commit this together, the people of the state, La Dene Drive and Euclid Avenue. They're doing so with the city of Ontario engaging in that violence. Everybody on the street, like I document and like I've demonstrated as I walk down the street, the government is monitoring me, stalking me, tracking my steps. The people of the state are gang stalking, and the people of the state just committed assault with a deadly weapon. All right, P.O.C. It is currently 5:56 a.m. AMR engaged in criminal summoning, and the entities engaging at the same time that they're crossing path. This is psychopathic pacing. This is the Upland Public Library that has the fake sun over me at the exact same time. This time yesterday, I am sitting at the side of the Ovid Family Community Library, capturing the fake sun that is directly over me, hovering over my head. And I took a significant and legally relevant and very highly revealing image of the fake sun that's over me at the exact same time that I'm inside of this venue where I'm capturing what is criminal summoning by American Medical Response. American Medical Response is engaging in what is entirely un-American and criminal activity. They're psychotic, and before those demons, Upland Police, equally psychotic and criminal, engaging in what is sounding their sirens, pacing north and south on Euclid Avenue. The city of Upland are a bunch of hostile demons. These are terrorists, and it's the same entity engaging in the same pattern of conduct as this is not over the side of the Ovid Family Community Library. All right. Neither are there two suns, where the sun would be over me at the Veterans Monument at 450 North Euclid Avenue and the Upland City Hall at 460 North Euclid Avenue and over the Ovid Family Community Library, where evidence shows that that's where I'm at. And that is also not the conduct of the sun, the behavior of the sun to engage in that ongoing bouncing all over the place. While they are pacing on Euclid Avenue, the sun is not moving in the sky over everyone, everywhere, every direction that they're going, for it to also still be here upon my exit, which you also know, relevant to the criminal conduct of American Medical Response, when I exit this venue and it's still present at 6 p.m. This is the entity that's engaging in that. I want to be clear. You're going to refer to the documentation captured in May of 2018 when the Upland Police Department are engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring in my home. Nakamura and Turner, who are engaged in gang stalking, and the fake sun is over me. They're engaging in what is the federal offense, an act of terrorism, criminal summoning, which is a threat to my life, while they are bearing guns and badges and exercising authority under the law that they do not have as a department, and as two that are masquerading as police officers. They're terrorists. And they're doing so even while an American citizen, a targeted individual where surveillance is underway, unbeknownst to American citizens, they summon that entity that is threatening your life. Those same circumstances is how American citizens are dying every day. And they're murdered. They're murdered because of the system of surveillance. And loss of life is reasonably to occur, and it is absolutely foreseeable when you have gang stalking police officers like that, which consume the Upland Police Department and the Ontario Police Department. This is P.O.C. All right, these are demons waiting to engage in surveillance. This is informing what American Medical Response is engaging in, is informing exactly what they are. They're psychos looking down, looking all around, looking like nothing is happening. Are cockroaches that remain inside of this venue under the fake sun, which you know remains as a matter of evidence until closing. They're pacing all around inside of this venue, running in and out, pacing in and out of the bathroom, engaging in surveillance in bathrooms, which is psychotic, and it's also predatory, and it's also the sex offense committed by the government, which it shall be prosecuted for. This is P.O.C. I'm documenting this video because the mentally ill in Upland, California are obsessively engaging in psychotic behaviors, pacing up and down First Avenue and Euclid Avenue, pacing all around me, monitoring. You have a population that are engaged in vagina monitoring in Upland, California, while the fake sun remains over the Upland Public Library, the venue that shares in the criminal conduct that Sean Thrasher and the Ovid Family Community Library have committed as of March 3rd, 2026. Asserting malicious allegations that are not only false, they know they're false because they're engaged in surveillance, they're gang stalking, and they're hostile terrorists who engage in what is discrimination, because this is the government. This is the government. The city libraries, that's a feature of the government. And this is the creative means of prosecuting the government that's keeping you under surveillance. The entities engaging in this, and upon malicious assertions, committing what is criminal summoning and kidnapping, for which the entity is going to federal prison. And what I want to remind you about is in May of 2018, Nakamura and Turner are engaging in what is an unlawful threat to my life, and there is no statute of limitations. And in fact, Marcelo BLANCO is establishing why they are going to federal prison. They are still to date engaging in the pattern of conduct, which is speaking to why they are going to federal prison. Okay, this ongoing gang violence continues, and they're engaging that with Tracy Banks in May of 2018, when Tracy Banks is engaging what is gang stalking me as an entity that has no consent to be in my home, keeping me under surveillance as the people of the state with the city of Upland, just like I'm showing you is underway at the Upland Public Library. Pay attention right here. This is pacing as you're walking toward the venue to trash can, walking toward the door, looking at the sun, oh, what time, whatever, it's pacing back and forth. That fake sun is how you know what they are, and they're demons. This is P.O.C. It's 9:42 a.m. The ongoing criminal summoning is a public nuisance for which the government is going to be federally prosecuted for. This is P.O.C. I want you to pay attention to what you're looking at. I'm going to explain in a second.
Sorry, my brain's not working today. I did key. I don't know why I just saw that. I'm like, oh, I got the wrong one.
Maybe we're thinking 3 like I thought of, and I said 2, but thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Excuse me. Okay, first of all, this is C. And in the library, surveillance is underway. You can clearly see this is all surveillance. This is gang stalking out in the city library. So this is the city of Upland. This is the government that's engaging in criminal surveillance. Gang stalking is underway by the people of the state. And as I've also shown, the people of the state engage in this criminal conduct and sexually violent monitoring system via minor children who are the people of the state. And it's also informing federal prosecution. Minors will be federally prosecuted for federal stalking and sexual violence, which they are as demons engaging in the same manner with the same level of impunity as those over 18. This is a psychopath. He's actually stalking me, and so is this minor child. They are both demon-possessed, just as relevant context. And this is Marcelo Blanco's criminal handiwork. This is the city of Upland, the Upland Police Department, maintaining what is vagina monitoring, and I'm going to give you context. First of all, the fake sun is over me like you see on video at 9:37 a.m., and this is how you know the significance of what he knows and what he's doing while he even is caressing this minor child that he's in custody of. They're focusing their vision on what's on the table. Okay, that's what you're doing when you're in a library. It's informing the type of activity that you're expected to engage in while you are doing nothing other than stalking. In Engineer Light, stalking is underway. It's criminal monitoring that's underway with the entire population. So the population, in other words, are taking turns entering into the study rooms in order to remain surrounding the targeted individual. The entities engaged in this, and I want to be clear, it's 3:16 p.m. This is crossing path, okay? The entities engaging in this pattern of conduct, this is crossing path, what you see right here, that's what I'm describing. The entities engaging in what is following. So I remain, and I want to narrow it because this is sexual violence, and the entity that is gang stalk with minor children are literally pedophiles. They have sex with children. This is relevant to the satanic cults that are gang stalking. And this particular entity decided to gang stalk me through an adult male with a young child of the female gender. They chose to do this, and I'm going to expose what they're doing, okay? It's as egregious if he's engaging in as a pedophile with a young male boy, but I just want to be clear, they decided to do it in this manner. This is merely execution of the same P.O.C. They chose a female minor with an adult male. And this is what they're doing. So they're following. You already know that. The fake sun's remaining over this building. It's on video as a matter of evidence. This is already a federal prosecution. He can keep the back of his head to me all he wants. This is a sex offender, and this is a pedophile. And he wants to appear as such as well. So while he is following, remember, I'm in this study room, and this is where I'm remaining. I walk out. As I walk out, the fake sun remains over the top of the building, and I took a picture of it. Okay? Oh, never mind that. That was accidental video. I took a picture of the fake sun over me as I leave from the study room in order to, this is earlier today. This is the impossible light activity. That's the shadow of the staircase that is upright, appearing flat on the floor, and it's within the shape of the window. This is all manner of impossible light activity, and you're also paying attention to the time. It's captured at 3:03 in the afternoon. The fake sun's over this venue at 9:37 in the morning. This is already the pattern of conduct. They're following me in and out of the bathroom, and they're following this is as I leave. So the fake sun is remaining over the same venue, which I captured on video. Okay, where American Medical Response, AMR, is engaged in psychopathic behavior, stalking with sirens, lights on Euclid Avenue, pacing, okay, and doing so under the fake sun, which is monitoring. They're stalking as an ambulance company in concert with the people. And this is what they're doing inside of the building where the entity keeps the fake sun over the building. These demons, right here next to me, engage in following me to the bathroom. They're inside appearing focused on whatever. You can appear focused. You can be engaging in heart surgery. It does not change the fact pattern. And this is what the demon possessed are relying upon, the outward external appearance of the thing. So while they are inside of the study room, I get up and I leave and I go to the restroom and I capture the fake en route to that restroom, which is relevant to the ongoing psychological harm pursuant to gang stalking somebody in a bathroom. This is aware of the fact that the government is monitoring my vagina. I'm going to prosecute for this. The entity is engaging in that, and this third party follows to the bathroom. This is the evidence that he's following to the bathroom. And the moment that I get up and leave to the restroom, that's when these two get up and they go into the restroom. And he took this minor child who was old enough to use the restroom by herself into the male restroom. Very inappropriate. Highly inappropriate. She is fully functioning enough. She's sitting here conversing with him. She's pacing. Moreover, she's monitoring. She's fully capable of using the women's restroom by herself if she didn't come with mommy today to gang stalk another woman. Whoever this male is, whether he is her guardian or her paternal guardian or not, her uncle. This is a pedophile that's engaging in gang stalking with a minor female child, and he is stalking me in the path, monitoring my vagina, stalking me with audible activity in the women's restroom. Pay attention to the impossible light on the floor, okay? Followed into the women's restroom by going into the male restroom with a minor child who was old enough to go to the bathroom by herself. So he's using the male stall. He's exposing himself in the male restroom, or taking this child that's old enough to use the bathroom by herself in the female restroom into the male restroom where other men are around her. Either way, it's inappropriate. And for all purpose, I just want to be clear, under all circumstances, it's pursuant to gang stalking, okay? This demon follows me with a minor child, which was an unnecessary extra. This was unnecessary to add in the minor child. They're doing these things on purpose. These are pedophiles. And this is Upland Public Library, who are monitoring what they're engaging in criminal activity with kids. They're specifically engaging in the criminal system with children at these libraries, okay? This is also relevant to, this is a sex cult that's engaging in gang stalking me. This is the Jezebel spirit. They engage in sex rituals with children. They engage in gang stalking with children. Gang stalking is an exceedingly violent sex offense. It follows, this is why you're engaging in the pattern of conduct with minor children. And it's not because you're in a library, by the way. But they do adjust the execution of the pattern of conduct based on the venue. So you're gang stalking in the ways in which you're expected to in the grocery store, while you're stalking in the aisles, stalking while you're ringing up, stalking while you're stocking inventory, stalking while you're mopping the floor, stalking while you're, cleaning out the bathroom, and you're monitoring vagina, okay? This is what he's doing with the minor child. And while I'm in the restroom, the entity is amplifying audible noise, and he also intentionally exits the bathroom at the same time that I do. This is a sex offender that derives pleasure from psychologically torturing the federal prosecutor, who's gonna have him prosecuted as a violent sex offender. And he's doing it with the minor child. And everyone is witnessing how she is old enough to go to the women's restroom by herself. He took her into the male's restroom, which is inappropriate, and he took her into the male's restroom to engage in vagina monitoring. He's engaging in terrorism of a sexual nature with a minor child, which is abuse, and this is that which the entity is engaging in. They're doing it under the fake son, okay? This is the entity that they shared in the sex offense together. That's what you're looking at here, okay? The adult is the one that's going to federal prison for such criminal activity which the people of the state engage in. But you need to know that the minor children are demon possessed, and they're monitoring as well. This is why the people of the state are losing custody of children. But I just want to be clear that it is known and recognized the sexual violence that the people of the state just committed in the male restroom, which is called relevant positioning to me, where this demon with a minor child in custody of the female gender is inside of the male restroom to monitor the vagina of another woman together on behalf of the government. Okay, the same government that's stalking me inside of this venue under the fake sun by helicopter and by airplanes and by fire, police, and ambulance on the roads and the highways, doing so with grown adult women who have children, who are, again, facilitating and engaging in this as well. Okay, these are pedophiles that are gang stalking in custody of children. Okay, the gang stalker is a violent sex offender, and I want to make sure that this is clear. Not only am I reporting sexual violence, I'm reporting sexual violence that is underway while they are monitoring my vagina together. It is sexual violence of minor children while you are monitoring my vagina with them. All right, this is on its face improper for him to have taken this young lady and this little girl into the male restroom as well. And this is what they're doing while, again, the mentally ill are very mistaken, always thinking that you're affecting me, that I'm going to be traumatized. I'm going to put it on the internet and prosecute you, and it's going to slap you in the face in federal court, period. And everybody else that's gang stalking with you, sharing in that sex offense against a child, is going to be prosecuted as well. This is the entity that's engaging in this, and I just want to be clear, this is occurring in the environment. This is the demon that followed me from the study room to the restroom. So the moment that I got up and went into the restroom, they walked out of the study room, and you know that they're following because the fake sun is over the venue. The fake sun literally moves as I move, and it stays where I stay. That's what I documented at the Ovid Family Community Library, okay? That's in a whole other city. Okay, so the entity's maintaining this, and this is somebody that's deriving pleasure. This is a mentally ill pedophile, okay? Engaging in what is sexual conduct, sexual activity, sexually violent activity, and criminal activity with a minor child. She's creating light activity with her shoes. She's creating light activity while they're in engineer light inside of the venue. And the entity has children engaging in criminal monitoring. And this is government, state action, all of it. All right. I just want to make sure that I speak to this. This is occurring at 3:10. My documentation is appearing on the time so that you can more clearly see what it is that you're looking at. And I also capture for your certainty. This is the same window where the fake sun is over me in the morning. I'll show that to you right now. Alrighty, this is the same window where at the top, I took a screenshot to juxtapose how the fake sun doesn't move. This is the environment where this adult male took a minor child old enough to go to the bathroom, pull her panties down, use the restroom, relieve herself by herself. Okay. Not only that, it's inappropriate. And if she were to do that, he wouldn't be able to go into the women's restroom. It's equally inappropriate for him to take her into the male restroom. I don't care if that's her dad or not. And it's all under all circumstances, criminal, sexually violent surveillance that the entity decided. They decided to engage in the pattern of conduct in this manner. This evidence is concrete. Okay, so there is no reasonable counter argument to what the entity is engaging in. You can argue back and forth. Oh, well, it's her dad, and I just want to be clear. It's the P.O.C. It's the sex offense underway with the minor child. They intentionally engage in that. This is not affecting me. It's affecting them in their custody of minor children, and it's affecting what is the criminal record of those that are going to be prosecuted as sex offenders by virtue of being a gang stalker. You're losing custody of your children. You're engaging in sexual violence with minor children, including taking this child much mature enough, very much mature enough to go to the bathroom by herself, and no need to go into the male restroom where they are exposing themselves, using those stalls that are out in the open, or even being in the male restroom altogether, especially just to monitor the vagina of another woman, because that's what he was doing. While my legs are spread apart, all right, while my panties are down, while I'm indisposed, while I'm wiping myself, in other words, the moment I touch myself, that's when this demon, this sex offender that chose to engage in vagina monitoring with a little girl in the male restroom in relevant position to me, is stalking with amplified noise through the wall. So I'm gonna let you think about that. This is indeed P.O.C, where everyone is engaging in surveillance and they're sharing in that sexual violence with a minor child together. These are the mentally ill, they're psychopathic. They are maniacal with regard to inflicting harm. With regard to the criminal case, the entity is only exposing itself, just like I am in this evidence. This is going to hurt them in federal court. This is a prosecution of a whole city of Ontario, because this is what they're doing day in and day out. So what are they doing in the male restroom in alignment to me under a fake sun that couldn't possibly be over this roof or anywhere up in California at any point, based on the unintelligent illusion that I documented in order to put pedophiles like this in prison? All right. So I just want to this is the entity that is mentally ill, and they're too focused on me and my vagina. And there's a remedy for that. This is exactly why they are losing custody of children. This is exactly why. The entity that is gang stalking, they have sex with children. It's a routine part of this sex cult that is engaged in gang stalking. Okay. I just want you to see this. This light activity is speaking to what is entirely absurd regarding this light activity. All right, the upright staircase is not going to appear flat on the ground while the sun is above the building, okay? And not only that, at 3:04 in the afternoon, the sun's not going to be over the same building that it is at 9:30 in the morning. Let me remind you. Here it is at 10 o'clock in the morning when a psychopath is stalking, looking to the left and the right, engaging in surveillance. It's the same fake sun, it's the same roof. This demon literally went into the bathroom with a minor child of the female gender in order to monitor my vagina, in doing so under the fake sun. It's AMR, engaged in criminal summoning, and the entities engaging at the same time that they're crossing path. This is psychopathic pacing. This is the Upland Public Library that has the fake sun over me at the exact same time. This time yesterday, I am sitting at the side of the Open Family Community Library, capturing. This is the P.O.C. It's at 9:37 a.m. This video ends at 9:42 a.m. This fake sun is still sitting over the same venue as of 3 p.m. Okay, outside of the same window that it's over at 10 o'clock in the morning. This is P.O.C. It is currently 3:29 p.m. All right, criminal summoning at 6:30 p.m. at the moment that I begin walking to the opposite side of the same library where the fake sun remains, the entity is engaging in what is psychopathic pacing, waiting for me to move with the Upland police that sound sirens. I'm going to go ahead and show you mental illness of those that wear scrubs. This is P.O.C. These are vagina monitors that are engaged in the pattern of conduct, and Marcelo Blanco is engaging in the P.O.C. These are the demons that are engaged in the corrupt practice of medicine in California. They commit kidnappings, they commit criminal defamation, they are targeting with the gang stalking police. This is what's underway in Upland. And they literally are fans, so I did write down my autograph for them. They came in to engage in the pattern of conduct, and it is damning regarding the medical profession, which is going to be removed. Many demons are going to be removed from the medical profession. That's what they're accomplishing when they're coming into the venue of Upland Public Library, which doesn't receive so many visitors, but for my being here. Going into the bathroom are the vagina monitors gang stalking, and these are very highly hostile demons, okay? So what you'll pay attention to is as I walk over toward that room, that's when they pace, that's pacing. Those are all demons. So one body after another is the same thing as one body going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Those are demons that engaged in pacing, and they were all waiting on me. Okay, this is relevant to what is criminal summoning that they're engaging in, and they're doing so with the librarians, all of the employees here. They committed kidnapping while they're gang stalking. This gang stalking is relevant to criminal acts that they've already committed. The entity is subject to federal prison. What you're getting from this is that the entity is engaging in this with those that are coming into the venue that are engaged in the practice of the medicine in one regard or another. For example, calling themselves nurses. These are minions. These are predators that go into the medical field to engage in cruel acts of violence, like the criminals that go into law enforcement to engage in criminal activity, like pedophiles that work amongst children to commit sex acts against them. This is the entity that is gang stalking the demon possessed. Okay, the entities engaging in this pattern of conduct. You are already aware of the fake sun that's remaining over the Upland Public Library. So now with those facts, you are looking at the bare bones, unadulterated criminal activity, the mental illness of those that are in the medical field, and they are unfit. This is informing federal legislation. All the policies that I've already outlined, they will be applied in California, and they will be applied with regard to the application of federal law toward the gang stalkers that have committed kidnapping and using any means of what is a license, certification, training. They're losing that. They are barred from the medical field, or they will never enter the medical field. And they are also subject to what is federal prison where they've committed kidnapping. Like the gang stalkers you see here at Upland Public Library, this is what they do at gang stalking hospitals like Arrowhead Regional Medical Center and San Antonio. Gang stalking with Ontario Police and the Upland Police Department. Okay, this is Upland, so San Antonio's in Upland, California. As a matter of evidence, San Antonio Regional Hospital committed kidnapping with Ontario Police. American Medical Response that you saw gang stalking this morning out under the fake sun, where these demons come in dressed as nurses to engage in the P.O.C. Very mentally ill behavior, not helping the same criminal facts. It's showing you that there is no distinction, no exception whatsoever. And they're literally going to a far extent to come and engage in that pattern of conduct. There is no person that is exempt from the pattern of conduct regarding what is the fake sun. Is the fake sun changing based on the presence or the person that is occupying presence? The answer is no. And these are the demons that are engaged in that pattern of conduct with the exact same malice and knowledge, federal stalking, engaging in criminal surveillance, and entering with knowledge of the evidence being documented. This is mental illness. They will be removed from the medical field. This is P.O.C. Look at the facial expressions. It's the same exact psychopathic pacing. They are unfit to diagnose anyone, to treat anyone. In fact, they're engaging in sexually violent criminal activity. And that's exactly what's going to be removed from the medical field. This is P.O.C. to provide you these messages. Demons are being removed from the medical field. They came to Upland Public Library to gang stalk, and Marcelo Blanco was fully engaged in that P.O.C., keeping my vagina under surveillance, whether they're wearing scrubs or whether they're 9 years old. He's going to be prosecuted under all circumstances. This is P.O.C. All right, I have to get this just because of the entity that is entirely desperate, very mentally ill. But is not under no circumstances doing anything other than stalking. This is Euclid Avenue at I Street, okay? Even more west of this location when I'm at the 10 freeway. What are the people of the state doing? The people of the state that are gang stalking with the government, and all they do is put on scrubs and then go into the city library and pace all around me inside there as well. Where that fake sun, where that ongoing engineer light that they're molesting with now, while bat poo crazy demons are stalking in planes, doing all manner of circus conduct all over the neighborhood while they're following me around, which is going to put them in prison and in mental institutions. And the ones that are stalking in the planes and the helicopters, they're going to prison as well. I just want to be clear. This is what the entity committed to steal my inheritance money, to steal my identity, to keep my vagina under surveillance. And this is the same population in a professional capacity putting on scrubs and stalking as an entity that defames your character, so that the entity itself that is actually mentally ill, projecting mental illness onto the target individual who is not only not mentally ill, but exceptionally gifted. That's why the government is targeting them. And also wealthy in my circumstance. The entity is engaging in what is defamation, criminal defamation, which is going to be recognized under federal law. That's what's behind the government, both number one, stalking, and then number two, defaming your character. That's criminal defamation, not merely defamation under civil law with regard to that tortious conduct that is merely pecuniary harm. Oh no, the criminal defamation serves the purposes of like the vagina monitors that you see inside of the Upland Public Library. This population that puts on white scrubs and paces all around me and wearing Target bags, and they think that no one sees what are not funny jokes, they're going to be removed from the medical profession. Everyone can see them very clearly as though they're walking around in the nude. That's how exposed they are. And I want you to remember that criminal defamation is that which the entity committed while they're stalking, just like this, and they were the whole time, including those in the medical field, the people that stay in a professional capacity, abusing those positions to commit criminal defamation, kidnapping as an entity, just like the Ontario Police, Arrowhead Regional Medical Center, San Antonio Hospital, the entity that's engaging in that P.O.C. in order to steal money while they defame your character, gang stalk you the whole time, conspiring your murder. All right, that's how all those facts relate. And there is nothing about this entity that I'm documenting, this pure, unadulterated, blatant stalking that the government is engaging in, is the ongoing evidence regarding the conspiracy to commit murder and steal my inheritance money. And by the way, it would never retroactively make legitimate my violation of due process rights. Whether you're defaming my character, perjuring yourself for which you're going to prison or not, I wasn't in the courtroom. There's a reason why I wasn't in the courtroom, because these gang stalking courthouses are relying on the gang stalking medical professionals, the gang stalking law enforcement departments, and the gang stalking people of the state. This is a system. It's the P.O.C. and every single last one of them to federal prison. This is what Marcelo Blanco was fully engaged in. Marcelo's fully engaged in it. It's a statewide system. That's why I can go from city to city and show you ceaseless pattern of conduct. Mike LORENZ is going to prison for seeking to steal my inheritance money and then sought to gang stalk me as though that was going to be a distraction. In fact, it's the criminal motive. It's what they were engaging in the entire time, trying to, which will never create mental illness. In fact, it's proving to you their mental illness. You're looking at the entity doing cartwheels in planes in the middle of the street. That's the Ontario Police Department stalking equally mentally ill. The entity that commits criminal defamation is the actually mentally ill. This is literally the rule. This is actually, and my documentation proves it, they're the demons that are mentally ill. It's the Nephilim. The entity that commits criminal defamation is the one that is actually mentally ill. And you will see their criminal pattern of conduct, which is exhibiting that. They will be subject to federal prison, and they will be subject to mental examinations. This is what Mike LORENZ is looking forward to. That agency is being disbanded. Marcelo Blanco, that's engaging in what is that ongoing enthusiastic engagement and what is threatened. That's a threat while the entity engaged in criminal defamation, and then you have vagina monitors putting on scrubs. They're these same gargoyles. They just put on scrubs. They're the people that stay in a professional capacity. That's a threat. Okay? Mental illness, whether it's wearing scrubs, mental illness, whether it is these gang stalking hobos that are monitoring my vagina, these gang stalking demons that are living in the neighborhood, it doesn't matter what the demon is wearing. That's why these demons that are of the so-called police departments are being prosecuted. The law is no respecter of persons, neither is Christ Jesus. You're looking at the same P.O.C. and the entity is engaging in a system, Satan, that's wearing masks, many masks, the same entity. This is P.O.C. At I.I.S Street in Euclid, there are no planes taking off, and there is no coincidence regarding the highly documented stalking, the absurdity of the ongoing admission to targeting me while seeking to steal my inheritance money with Tracy Banks and Jason Fields and Eric Spencer and everybody that went into a court in my absence while I'm kidnapped. And they're lying about me being dead, lying about me being a drug addict, lying about me being a prostitute. That's what the gang stalking medical professionals, the gang stalking police officers, the gang stalking gang members themselves, the people of the state, that's what they did. That's what the gang stalking system that they're admittedly engaging in, doing cartwheels in the middle of Euclid Avenue at I Street, is letting you know. That's how that correlates. And guess who's going to prison? Everybody that I just mentioned, and a whole laundry list, including in the city of Upland. P.O.C. It is currently 7:55 p.m. Just to be clear, let me show you the specific environment where you are stalking. Everybody already knows that the Ontario Police, all right? This engineered environment is speaking to that, including the fact when you're looking at the entities stalking in commercial planes and doing cartwheels in the middle of the street. What is taking off over the Ontario City Hall? What was that? What's that taking off like they're landing over the Stater Brothers in the parking lot? What is hovering over my hotel room at Economy Inn at 231 South Euclid Avenue adjacent to the 60 freeway? This is the P.O.C. They're going to prison. And they're mentally ill. They already know they're going to prison. They're engaging in admittedly gang stalking somebody is never going to get you out of stealing inheritance money through the corrupt courts, through the corrupt system that they abused while they're engaging in this the entire time. It's not a distraction. It's an ongoing provision of a direct motive, and they're going to federal prison for it, and they will not be getting out. The Ontario airport is being shut down. You're looking at the impunity with which they engage in criminal activity. I'm not the first person that the city of Ontario has sought to murder, sought to steal from, and then engaged in what is just unabashed lawlessness, and doing so in the face of the world because they thought, and these are demons, you're not thinking, you don't have any strategy, but they literally engaged in, well, it's better that we be prosecuted for gang stalking than conspiring murder for inheritance money. And so if we do that overtly, which is what they're doing, then nobody's going to talk about the fact that they stole my inheritance money, that I'm a wealthy woman, and they sought to steal my identity regarding that. And this 60-some-odd witch, Tracy Banks, over 60 years old, is supposed to be the one that's actually stealing my identity and doing so with the people of the state. That's literally what the plan was. It's a horrible plan, and they have admittedly engaged in domestic terrorism in the U.S. These terrorists engage in a system of theft of American citizens, and I am not the first. I'm the first to report on it. I'm the first to expose it, and I'm the first to prosecute it. That's what this is. And I want to let you know they are not geniuses. They are not elite. They're violent sex offenders that have sex with children and then gang stalk with them. This is P.O.C. It is currently 7:58 p.m. This is going on the playlist regarding mentally ill behavior. Look at what's right in front of you, because it's gang stalking you. Gang stalking police, and then this puts on scrubs and goes into the library. Goes into the bathroom with little girls. Gang stalkers. They're being prosecuted as terrorists in the U.S. This is P.O.C. Okay, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Progressing in the direction that I'm progressing, and as I start recording, showing you a takeoff over houses, they start turning. There is nothing at the airport. There's flying miles from the airport, maintaining ongoing systematic surveillance through the airlines at the Ontario International Airport. All right, this is a molestation, and I'm documenting these license plates. I'm going to include them in this video. This is a federal prison, okay? And this is the infamous Bethel congregation that is engaged in the pattern of conduct. As I walk on the sidewalk, the lights come on the patio area here. This is the same fake church that has the fake sun over me from morning until evening. This is the Ontario International Airport gang stalking, CGL 1820 Washington. P.O.C. The entity flies over the top of my head by a smaller plane as well. This is criminal surveillance. This is the ghetto establishment that's never going to have any hit record. They're going down as vagina monitors and co-conspirators of murder. They're not going to be rappers. They're not going to be artists. And I'm also going to prosecute them. This is 601 North Euclid Avenue, gang stalking. They're not artists. They're not MCs. Okay, they're not even talented. 9 MHE 950. This is P.O.C. And they are pulling up with license plate 9 Robert Thomas Apple 789 using the alarms as a means of monitoring. They're doing so with the Ontario International Airport that's stalking at I Street. Okay, so I just want to be clear, there's not a series of airports all along up Euclid Avenue, so you are necessarily going north and south to be in alignment with me to then engage in what is flying west, okay? This is P.O.C. This is where they're coming from, 602, talking with the Ontario International. All right, P.O.C. All right, this is what they're doing at the 10 freeway. Okay, so they're flying miles away. This is a very simple system, and this is what the Ontario International Airport is sharing. It's stalking on the opposite side while I'm on I Street. This is terrorism. It's domestic terrorism. It's gang violence. And by the way, like I stated, all they do is put on scrubs and go pace around me like psychopaths who are unfit to be in the medical field. And they are not staying in the medical field. This is how they engage in criminal defamation. This is the system that they operate. And I want to be clear, they're demons. You'll see, the entity is gang stalking at what is F Street, F as in Frank. I'm documenting them gang stalking flying over me at Chafee High School. They're gang stalking while I'm at I Street. This is the entity that's gang stalking while I'm at Hawthorne. They're doing so while you're looking at UPS, Southwest Airlines, while I'm at the 10 freeway. All right? Never mind the entity that's hovering over Woodside Senior Apartments, which is down G Street. Okay? But this is the entity that is engaging in what is blatant. And admittedly, engaging in terrorism is under no circumstances going to help you in the federal case. Utilizing terrorism to get away with inheritance theft, which is what the city of Ontario has committed in concert with the people of the state. The people of the state are violent sex offenders. These are murderers. They play church. They play cops and robbers. They play family, like the nuclear, they're demons. Okay? This is a demon-possessed society, and this is a corrupt society, and they are, okay, this is called stalking in the path. This has nothing to do with what would be taking off from the airport and maintaining a flight from the airport to an actual destination. I am the goal. I am the target. Okay? This is P.O.C. It is currently where Lockout Studios is documented as gang stalkers. They're not artists. Okay? Again, this is 602 North Euclid Avenue, and this is 536 North Euclid Avenue. The infamous documentation, the Ontario and the Ontario International Airport right here. Why are they not flying on the opposite side of that bus bench? Because I am north of that bus bench, and they remain on the south side of my person. So that's why they have that progression beyond the bus bench. When I'm at that bus bench where the fake sun rises and sets, they are maintaining planes over the church, over the storefronts, at Euclid and F Street. And that there is no sunrise at the bus stop while the entity has a fake sun remaining over where Marcelo Blanco is putting himself on the map with regard to being a terrorist leader in the United States, where the city of Upland is gang stalking at the Upland Public Library, and so on, and so on, and so forth with the P.O.C. Alrighty, this is the entity that's engaging in that. I just want to be clear. The level of blatant criminal conduct that the government knows is being documented is because this act of desperation, this lawlessness, the government willingly committed before the world because they would rather go down for terrorism for not, okay, rather than you to know that they maintain an entire elaborate system, which you already knew this was inevitable, an entire elaborate system regarding theft from American citizens that they target with regard to any sort of criminal purpose, even if it's just because you're a Christian, you're a born-again Christian and you believe in Christ Jesus. The demon-possessed will target you, focus on you because of that. They're demons. But the entity is maintaining a system. And they literally, these are the ignoramuses that give me thousands of videos of you stalking me as a police department, as a fire department, as an ambulance company. And then you think that they don't look like stalkers inside of the library with scrubs on? They're delusional. This system committed inheritance theft, and Tracy Banks is at the top of the list. She's going to prison. And all of her idiotic co-defendants are going with her. This is P.O.C. There's nothing elite. There's nothing genius. There's nothing sophisticated or even remotely intelligent about this. It's black and white stalking, which is what demons are. They're stalkers. P.O.C. License plate 6NKD187. Assault with a deadly weapon with their co-defendants and includes ARCO 8 Edward Indiana Paul 592. And ARCO is located at 434 North Euclid Avenue. This is P.O.C. She's documented stalking with the Ontario Police Department while she's looking crazy right now. And Cool Transports is gang stalking using the vehicle as a means of light activity. This is where the Ontario Police are routinely documented gang stalking by helicopter while psychopaths look like they're perplexed. You're going to look at my evidence, and this is what they are always engaging in. She's going to prison, so she can look as retarded as she wants to. This is the P.O.C. This is her license plate, or at least this is the license, very heavily documented, systematically monitoring, and Cool Transports is engaged in that. This is a stalker lurking from behind the chevron. License 8 Edward Indiana Paul 592, sharing in what is sexual assault and battery 7T RS 876, and this is also why the Ontario Police are being disbanded. This conduct, okay? This is what Marcelo Blanco, having gang stalking nurses pace all around like psychopaths and engineer light. Nothing about that environment changes when you put on scrubs. They're the same vagina monitoring demons. who commit violent acts such as assault with a deadly weapon, while they are obsessively and determined to engage in stalking, and then they want to engage in acts of violence because of their determination to stalk you, and I will document that. Okay, that's the psychopath. And then the psychopath that looks at you like you're weird while you document them. They're going to be committed with this very evidence. And this is P.O.C, the Ontario International Airport, while you're looking crazy and you're being documented. The Ontario Police Department, while you're looking crazy while you're being documented. The impossible light activity, the fake sun rise and set while you're looking crazy as you're being documented. The specific environment while you're looking crazy as you're being documented. Okay, this is P.O.C. This is the entity that's engaging in that pattern of conduct while you're looking crazy and you're being documented. That's called malice, poor acting, very malicious, highly unintelligent. The entity engages in murder with this. They've done it to the wrong person. I'm going to expose your malice. I'm going to expose your psychopathic appetite for targeting other people that you think that you can get away with it with your facial expressions or with your position, and you're going to prison with that. This is the Ontario Police following down the street. They're stalking me at I Street, and now I'm at what is Euclid Avenue and at E as in Edward, where this entity is engaging what is stalking by helicopter on behalf of the people of the state that are engaged in the criminal biddings of a government that together also engages in inheritance theft and then gang stalking to try to make it go away. And that's absurd. It's not going away. I'm here to prosecute. P.O.C. It is currently 8:29 p.m. Everybody is stalking. Ontario Police Department just committed assault with a deadly weapon. They did it through the people of the state. They did that this morning as well at La Dini and Euclid Avenue. These are violent killers, sex offenders that are monitoring vagina. They're also rapists. That's why they're monitoring vagina without consent. They also engage in raping people, which is sexual violence, while they're stalking you, and also calling themselves something like police departments or nurses and doctors that engage in inheritance theft and defaming your character so that nobody will believe you. This violence is domestic terrorism, and I'm going to prosecute, and they're going to prison. You're going to prison. Assault with a deadly weapon, theft of property, damage of property, verbalizing threats, obviously kidnapping, even threatening to summon the stalkers themselves of the Ontario Police or any police department while you're gang stalking. All of those are grounds of federal prison, all of them. This is P.O.C. It is currently 8:30 p.m. and what you are witnessing, that's Cool Transports. They're gang stalking at Princeton under the fake sun. Are you kidding me? They're monitoring. All right, this is the entity that's now south of where they are at the church, flying here. So how are you getting over there? Because you're not flying west to be north of this location. They're flying from the airport. There's one airport that's, by the way, south of Holt Boulevard. And then they're flying miles over and then hovering over a parking lot. This is the mentally ill that engage in things like vagina monitoring. P.O.C. The mentally ill that engage in criminal defamation are telling you the reality regarding their own mental illnesses, and no one is missing it. They are going to be diagnosed. They're going to be committed. They're going to be treated, diagnosed, and confined regarding what is prison and mental wards, which is where those who are stalking in planes and helicopters absolutely belong. Those that are wearing scrubs and stalking, that's exactly where they belong. Those that are representing law enforcement and they're stalking, that's where they belong. Okay, this is P.O.C. It is currently 8:31 p.m. where you're looking at my evidence of the pattern of conduct and you're seeing the same criminal defendants. You're seeing the airport with the entity that's gang stalking on the roads and the highways. They are the same entity because you're looking at the impossible light activity. It doesn't matter where I'm at, where you're looking at what is engineered light. That's not my shadow that's coming from a street lamp. My shadow's all over the ground, multiple shadows, varying in hues and concentration of hue. That's impossible light activity. It's the same purpose with the fake sun over me, a fake sun that remains in a whole other city. And so you're looking back at all the evidence of what they're already doing when the fake sun remains on this block, by the way. And I go to Upland, California, and what is Marcelo Blanco doing with a bunch of vagina monitors and white scrubs? Failing at responding to the evidence that they're embarrassed by that's posted on X. But while you do that, and I'm documenting it, it's relevant to who is going to prison. That's what they're doing. All they're getting to is sentencing now. The case is already done. We're getting to sentencing. This is informing federal legislation. This is campaigning for how the laws are going to change. Oh, everything's different now because the government is a gang stalking thief, a terrorist inside of the United States. This is P.O.C. I just want to be clear. Julia Gu, Jim Bowman, Alan D. Wapner. These are the demons and the rest of them that are on the airport board. they're going to be federally prosecuted, and they have no problem with you knowing that they are engaged in terrorism. The airlines are engaging in, and every airport is engaging in that which the mayor is aware of, that which the airport leadership is aware of, that which the so-called executive team, the CEO, Otif El-Kadi, they're being prosecuted. While the airport is following me around in the city of Ontario, and it is specific to me. It's specific to me. They're flying over my hotel room where there's no airport flights that would even be over there by the 60 freeway. And you're hovering over the Arco. This is exactly what I was talking about while I'm over at I Street. What are you doing flying over Chafee High School? This is the entity that's gang stalking with regard to a body of evidence. This is relevant to the record. Clear, unadulterated stalking that is already established. The case is already proven. And you're seeing the entity that's continuously stalking. In the same manner that you would document any stalker. And as you document that stalker, they are on notice that you do not consent to them stalking. And while they continuously stalk in the face of that documentation, that is necessarily, inherently, it is axiomatic that that mind state of that stalker is put into that controversy because they are clearly unwell. This is a government and a population that's committing that. And it's a matter of documentation. And it is also proven through science. And the entity engages in more psychotic behavior. They have a line of planes that are coming from the airport, flying miles over to where I'm located, and then lowering in elevation to fly in relevant position to me. This is what they're doing along Euclid Avenue. Euclid Avenue runs north and south. This is P.O.C. This is the entity that's providing evidence against each other. Upland is prosecuting Ontario. Ontario is prosecuting Upland. San Bernardino County is prosecuting Los Angeles County. Los Angeles and San Bernardino County are prosecuting San Diego County. All of these counties are prosecuting Kern County. The entity is engaging in this while Riverside County is prosecuted by it. This is the entity that there are no coincidences here. And the entity is going to be federally prosecuted for what they did as a government, a population to one person. It will result in what is a lot of people, a gang going to federal prison. And that's not going to bar justice. An entire population, a government body sought to murder me and steal my inheritance money. There's going to be hundreds of people, okay, if that are going to be subject to prison. And that's justice, okay? Millions of people are targeting me. And I did the work, I documented it, I maintained the case. They're going to prison. This is P.O.C. It is currently 8:35 p.m. This is the Ontario police calling themselves scaring somebody. They're going to prison. I'm at the Ovid Family Community Library, and it is currently 10:39 p.m. and the record will show that I've completed uploading evidence onto the drive. This is correlating with the documentation of the Ontario Police stalking me by helicopter, engaging in criminal summoning as I documented. It's centered around my documentation. This is where the Ontario International Airport is stalking as well, at the Ovid Family Community Library. This is P.O.C. It's 10:39 p.m.